Hi, Mr. Eaton here with Year 7 Video Lesson 3.8 Number Patterns, and as always, please remember to record some important information in your study notes section of your exercise book and to stop the video when you need to make some notes and to complete some of the questions. Right, well, number patterns are also called sequences, and each number in the sequence is called a term. Each number pattern has a starting number, so you start somewhere, and you are generating the following sequence of numbers following a particular rule. Now, in order to find the next number in the sequence, or the next term in the sequence, we have to decipher what is going on, what is the rule, what is happening with that specific sequence of numbers so that we can find the next one. Well, there's a couple of strategies we can do, and the first one is called common difference. So if I have my sequence of numbers here, I'm looking for the common difference. What is the common difference between that pair of numbers there? So what am I doing to 2 to get to 6? What am I doing to 6 to get to 10? What am I doing to 10 to get to 14? And what am I doing to 14 to get to 18? And therefore, what is my next number in the sequence going to be? Put the video on pause and have a go. Well, I'm sure you would have worked out that we're actually adding 4. So we're adding 4 to 2 to give me 6, and to 6 we're adding another 4 to get to 10, and from 10 to get to 14 obviously we're adding another 4, 14 to 18 we're adding another 4, and so what is our next number going to be? Well, it is going to be 22 because we've got to add 4 to it. So that is called finding the common difference in a sequence of number to find the next term. The next strategy we can use is called common ratio. Alright, so here is my sequence of numbers and I need to find my next term. So we need to work out what is we doing to 2 to get to 4, and then what are we doing from 4 to get to 8, and what are we doing from 8 to get to 16, and what are we doing for 16 to get to 32, and therefore what must we do to 32 to get our next term? Put the video on pause and have a go. Well, in this case what we're doing is we're saying 2 multiplied by 2 is going to give me 4. So 2 times 2 equals 4. So that's the next number, or the next term. What are we doing from 4 to get to 8? Well, we're going to multiply 4 by 2, and that's going to give me 8. So 8 by 2 is going to give me 16. 16 by 2 is going to give me 32. And therefore 32 by 2 is going to give me 64. Okay, so that's the common ratio way of working out a term in a sequence of numbers. The third strategy is called increasing or decreasing the difference. So here is our sequence of numbers, and we've got to find that term there. So what are we doing to 1 to get to 3, and then from 3 to get to 6, and 6 to get to 10, and 10 to 15, and obviously what is the next term in the sequence? Put the video on pause and have a go. Alright, well, what we're going to do first of all is work this one out over here. So what is the difference there? The difference there is 2. So 1 plus 2 is going to give me my 3, which is that one over there. What do I need to do to 3 to get to 6? Well, I'm going to take what my difference is. My difference is 2, and I'm going to add 1 to it. So to get to my next number, which is the 6, I'm going to say my difference is 2 plus 1 gives me 3. So I'm going to add 3 to 3. So this difference 3 added to 3 is now going to give me 6. So how do I find 10? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my difference being 3, and I'm going to add 1 to it, which gives me 4. I'm going to add that 4 to my 6, and that's going to give me 10. Right, so how do I get 15? Well, I've got the 4 is my difference here. I'm going to add 1 to it, so it's going to give me 5. So 10 plus 5 is going to give me 15. So how do I find my next term? Well, my difference has been 5 over here, so I'm going to have 5 add 1 giving me 6. So I'm going to say 15 add 6 equals 21. Well done. So the next term here is going to be 21. The fourth strategy is called interlinked pattern. So before I go on with this pattern over here, this sequence of numbers, you could say that that was an odd number, as is that an odd number, and that is an odd number in the sequence. Okay, so that's the first, that's the third, that's the fifth, and that'll have to be the seventh. So we're looking at odds over here, and obviously the second isn't even, the fourth isn't even, the sixth isn't even, and obviously the one over here would be the eighth. So we could break down our sequence of numbers into odd or even terms. Okay. So having said that, what have I done to 2 to get to 4 to get to 6, and what would my next one be? And having a look at 8, go on to 7, go on to 6, and what is the next going to be? Put the video on pause and give it a go. Alright, so I'm sure you would have worked out that the odd number terms are adding by 2. So we're going from 2 to 4, we're adding 2. From 4 to 6, we're adding 2. And from 6, obviously, we're going to end up with 8. Well done. And if we have a look at our even number terms, we're going from 8 to 7 to 6. And obviously, we are decreasing by 1. Therefore, this number is going to be 5. Okay, so well done. So we have successfully worked out what the next numbers in our sequence are going to be, or what the next terms in our sequence of numbers is going to be. The last strategy, strategy 5, is called special patterns. Alright, so here's our sequence of numbers, and we need to find the next term. So what have we done to 1, and then we ended up with 8, and then we've got 27, 64, 125, and what is our next term going to be? Have a look and see if you can work out if there's a special pattern, something happening to these numbers. Don't worry too much about the 1 here. Have a look at the 8, have a look at the 27, 64, 125, and what's the next one? Put the video on pause and give it a go. Alright, well, the 1 over here is 1 cubed. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. And the 8 over here is 2 cubed. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 gives me 8. What about 27? Well, that's 3 cubed. Look at the pattern. Okay, so 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. What about 64? Well, 4 4s are 16, by 4 gives me 64. How about 125? Well, it's 5 cubed. 5 times 5 is 25, multiplied by 5 gives me 125. What is my next one here? Put the video on pause and work it out. Alright, well, obviously we've got to 5 cubed over here, so we have to go to 6 cubed. So what is 6 cubed? 6 cubed is 6 multiplied by 6, which is 36, multiplied by another 6 is going to give me 216. So my next term is going to be 216. See if you can work out what the next one after that is going to be in there. Put the video on pause, give it a go. Alright, so we're going to have 7 cubed. So 7 sevens are 49, multiplied by 7 gives me 343. So that'll be the next term in this sequence of numbers. And that's pretty much it. That is number patterns.